Some of the biggest things we pulled from watching the game film of our season opener is, one, we were really happy with the way the guys competed and how hard they played. The effort was there. There's some little things that obviously we need to clean up on all three sides of the ball, but the guys played hard. It was a physical football game against a good football team, and we battled with them all the way to the end. Obviously, I think we feel like we left some opportunities out there. Offensively, we had a couple drops in the pass game, and left a couple balls just over some fingertips down, some deeper throws that not only are big plays, but they're momentum plays too, that prolong drives and also, help keep the other team on their heels. So not able to connect on those is really something we kind of kicked ourselves, because our run game was spectacular. James Lamb and Mike Cordova did a great job for us. We rushed the ball for over 220 yards, and both of those guys did a great job with the reads and also finishing and making sure they fall forward for positive yardage. So we were disappointed in that. And then the biggest thing was just third down, some of the situational football. We did a good job offensively in the red zone when we did get in there, and then third downs, I think on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, we struggled. We didn't convert as many as we need to, and we definitely didn't get ourselves off the field defensively as many times as we needed to. Red zone success, obviously, we talk about situational football every day with our guys, and that's a situation that we drill literally every practice, whether it's good on good or versus scouts and getting some looks of what we expect to see. So some of it's game planning and some of it's the guys understanding the situation, how the offense or the defense has to adjust because of where we are on the field. And like you said, having a kicker that's essentially guaranteeing us points every time we get down, inside the 30. Really, for us, we feel really confident that if we do get stopped, Matt Height is going to be able to put it through the uprights for us. So I think obviously drilling it, game planning for it, and then the guys have to execute. And did a good job in the red zone and fell short maybe in some other situational areas. I think it's really easy to look anytime you run the ball as effectively as we did in a game. The first people that you have to look to are the offensive line. None of that happens without them, and we're really fortunate to have 5 guys that started and played for us that are grinders. They come out and they work every day. It's a thankless job at times, but we feel really happy that when the box score fills up with rushing stats, those are the guys that we're always going to point to. They also did a great job of just keeping the pass rush at bay. You know what I mean? It's good to have an experienced group of guys back that played together last year, the last half of the season. So there's some really good continuity there, and some really experienced guys. Obviously, at some point, a defense is going to throw something at you that you weren't able to prepare for during the week that they haven't shown, and you have to have experience and fundamentals to be able to adapt. And they did a really good job of that, and hopefully they continue to do that moving forward. We're really pleased with some of the guys that we have in the defensive line position group. We have some really tough physical football players in there. I think we have the best defensive tackle tandem in the league between John Ejiofor and Xavier Young. Those guys are very experienced. They're tough. They're physical. They're athletic. They don't just eat up blocks. They get off of blocks and they make plays, which takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the defense when the 2 inside guys can make tackles. And then to have some guys back on the edge right now that played for us last year. Nate Bresson had a really good game for us. Had a couple tackles for loss. Again, another really physical, just tough football player. Doesn't have to be flashy. He's high effort, high motor, and he's a really tough kid to keep on a block. And then Maurice Green and Noah Powell and Jack Kelly, who got reps on the edge as well, had really good games for us. So we were really pleased with just the overall production. Again, there's some little things that off of week 1 that we need to clean up in both sides of line play, but I think the effort and the execution was there, and it was good enough for us to win a football game. The best thing about Sean Cassidy is just the way he approaches it. It's every practice is a game situation for him. He doesn't take any plays off. He's locked in. He's a focused football player, and he plays really fast. If he does make mistakes, he makes them at full speed, and sometimes that's enough to make up for any mistake. He did a great job tackling. He had a couple plays where the ball had a chance to be creased, where it's an open field tackle, and as a defensive back, the majority of your tackles end up being open field tackles, and he did a great job finishing those plays and limiting anything from breaking through that second or third level, which any good run defense, you have to have great tacklers on the second and third level just as much as up front. So he did a great job for that, and he'll definitely continue to do that. Yeah, with conference play, I mean, obviously we're having to move on and really attack the conference schedule. It's a couple of scenarios this week. It's our first road game, so we have to make sure that we can be prepared and focused enough to bring it on the road and show up to another team's field and play well on the road. Obviously, with some of the younger guys that haven't experienced that, it's getting them that experience and really preparing them for that so that we can show up and execute. It's a conference game. We said our goal every year is to win our conference. That'll get us in the NCAA playoffs. So we've got to start well in our conference. And then it's a trophy game on top of that. It's something that, we bring the trophy out to practice every single day. And we talk about the importance of that trophy because it means a victory for us. I think the guys take a lot of pride in that trophy. And that's why it's always out there with us during this week every year. And, our plan is to bring it with us and hopefully bring it back with us Saturday night. St. Anselm's is a young football team. They're extremely hungry. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's a Saturday night game. I know they haven't had a ton of night games on that field. So we're excited to go up there and play them, and we're expecting their best shot. They're coming off a week where they had an extra week to prepare for us, obviously with no game the first week of the season. They have a really talented quarterback who's had a really good career there as a two-time captain for them, so we know that stopping him is going to be a point of emphasis. They're a young roster, and there's some unknown in terms of what we're going to see schematically from them because we don't have a game's worth of film on them. So, we have to be prepared and focused to do what we do and to focus on being the best version of us. And then obviously we'll have to be able to adapt a little bit to what we're seeing from them once the game kicks off. Yeah, really, it's kind of like a spring practice approach where you're really just focused on the fundamentals. Obviously with a running quarterback and the possibility of defending the option on defense, you talk a lot about assignment football, alignments, block defeats, leverages, tackling, all the fundamental things, at least defensively, that we need to do right to win a football game. Offensively, it's a similar defense that we saw from last season, but again, we could have some new moving parts and pieces that we have to adjust to. So again, it's just sticking to our fundamentals and our techniques and our responsibilities and really focusing on that and not so much focusing on what we could see, because as long as we stay true to our schemes, we should be able to go up against anybody. Keys to victory this weekend, definitely defensively we have to limit their ground game, particularly with their quarterback. I think that will open up the rest of their offense if they can get him going, and when they've had success, he's been successful and he's a really talented football player. Moving the chains, I think winning the third down battle is going to be big. We didn't do a great job of that last week, so continuing to do that and putting a point of emphasis on that Saturday night will be big for us. And then obviously, as always, the turnover battle is going to be big. Can we create some short fields for our offense? Can we create some really positive plays on special teams that can, momentum plays? So I think whatever team can do those three things is going to be the most successful team.